What's up, everyone? Drew, Sherb, Hunter here with another Misfit podcast, the very last open podcast. I was going to say of the year, but of this month.
Of the year.
Of this open year. For this game season.
This
you guys are
year.
done? Kind of?
Definitely.
Are you all right?
For the love of God, I
Are
hope
either
so.
of you guys all right?
Moderately. No.
No, we were outside like dry heaving in the parking lot. It was fun. It's a good time. Have fun, guys.
Before we get into it, we're going to go through our housekeeping really quick. April 1st, which I believe is a week from this coming Monday.
Correct.
Could be making that up. April 1st, there will be brand spanking new applications for remote coaching and team remote coaching. Team remote coaching has been something that we've been asked to provide for a long time. We wanted to make sure that it had the right structure. So April 1st, there will be limited spots available. So get your application in for either individual remote, because post-open is when we get a trillion applications. So get your application in April 1st. We'll go from there. What you got?
Following April 1st, April 3rd to the 5th, we're having a huge sale event on sharpentheaxeco.com. We typically only have one of these sales once or twice a year, the other one being Black Friday. Site-wide, 20 to 70% off. Do not miss it. Everything will go fast, especially those things you've been dying to get. They haven't pulled the trigger on, but you're ready to pull the trigger on now. So be there, 3rd to the 5th. Hunter, what you got for us?
Yeah, super excited to announce something additional to the program. We've got our competition track. Seth mentioned it last week. So our competitors track programs are 7-week-long programs, basically designed to build you up for a competition, a sanctioned event, anything like that. They are likened to our former regionals prep program.
Trying to peak you, right?
Yeah,
Get you ready.
Just trying to get you ready. So if you are competing in specifically Brazil, Down Under CrossFit Championship, Ohio, or are an age group online qualifier athlete, your week 1, day 1 is going to start April 1st. If you are competing at any of the other sanctioned events, your first week will start very shortly after that. So be on the lookout for those programs to drop the following week. And then second thing, teammisfit.com, our affiliate programming arm. April programming just dropped today. So if you are interested, that program is actually going to consist of the entire post-open cycle. So probably not a better time to jump on, give that a shot, and see if you like it leading into cycle 1. Holy crap.
There's
That's
also
not
a
that
ton of
far.
other good stuff on that site. Bunch of articles, blog posts. Like, don't miss that stuff, too.
Almost just passed out.
Yeah,
That was
I
one
held my
breath,
breath.
wasn't it?
Yeah, that was one breath.
I'll try to talk for a little while here to give you a break.
Thank you.
The competition track is really important to note. We're trying to peak for these competitions. We're trying to get people ready to try and qualify for the CrossFit Games. And the only one that doesn't start really soon in terms of the timing that doesn't start really soon is the French Throwdown. That one's at the end of June. Everything before that either needs to be turned into a little bit shorter of a program or needs to get started April 1st, April 15th, something like that. So it's going to be very soon. That'll be available on our website this week. You'll be able to purchase that. All right. Misfit Takeover Leaderboard. Top 20, ladies first. Mackenzie Riley,
Boom.
Danielle Brandon, China Cho, Alexis Johnson, Jess Griffith, Caroline Connors, Lauren Suver, Taylor Nisley, Gigi Sabatini, Rebecca Voigt-Miller, Paige Semenza, Elena Savage, Stephanie Simmons, Hannah Hardy, Miki Nuccio, Jill D. Giampaolo. Miki. I did say that, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Tia Gould, Lizzie, Tia Gould, Paddle, Lizzie Belbruno, Nisha Purewall, and Gabby McClelland. Nice work, ladies.
Miki.
Top 20.
Sorry, it's really funny that you said that.
Be a dick.
Sorry.
Top 20 Misfit men. Sam Quant has finally made his way on the leaderboard.
Nice. Did he put that
I'm
on
not
there?
sure if he did. I'm not sure if he did it. I'm not sure if he did it or if
No,
he did
he's
it
on
for
there.
him. Jonathan Wall, Chandler Smith, Cody Mooney, Austin Spencer, Nick Matthew, Nate Long, Travis Williams, Holly Holgerson, Gio Contreras, Jordan Cook, Aaron Osborne, Luke Conan, Logan Southard, Kenneth Hart, Brian Harris, Sherb, Marcis, Mucinix, Jonas Olsen, Brian Levesque.
5 weeks, 5 different names for Marcus.
Marcis. You guys said it wrong. It's Marcis.
I don't think it's Marcus. Did I say Marcus?
Yeah.
Minkus?
I didn't.
Minkus.
Okay, I can't say this part yet because we got to do the drawing.
Whoa.
Are you ready? Don't cheat.
I can't. Well, Seth's not here to tell me that I'm cheating. Okay.
You're cheating. Don't
Okay,
do that.
whatever.
You're cheating.
There it is. I cheated.
Sure, he wins.
I can't move. Brian Levesque.
Proud of you, Brian. Usually
Proud
go
of
ladies
you. You
first.
did
Where
well.
I'm from, it's called Brian Levesque. Whatever your last name is, Brian, please email Jen,
Scarborough,
Jenn, at misfitathletics.com
Brian Levi, where you come
with your size. Stop talking, young man. With your size and your shipping information. Brian, email Jen, Jenn, at misfitathletics.com, size and shipping.
Already picked the lady. Cheated. Hannah Hardy. Whoa.
Misfit VIP. I think you know Jen's email address, but I'm going to tell you. I'm going to repeat it. And at misfitathletics.com. We already have your size and your shipping, but you can give that to her anyway, so she doesn't have to go look for it. Nice work. 19.5. You guys had an interesting strategy at the beginning.
Is that like
Go
lots of
as
resting?
slow as possible and then slow down.
Yeah. Textbook.
Hunter, I'm going to have you tell me a little bit about your 19.5 first. What do you got for me?
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it just hurt. Like you get to a point where it's just like for me, it was just the volume just added up. It's just not something that I can work through super quickly. So it was important to break things up early and often, which I did, and I probably didn't break it up enough. Like that first round was three intentional sets on both thrusters and pull-ups. I think you did the same thing, just the sets were a little bit bigger. Stayed pretty consistent, but then it just adds up so quickly, and if you're not smart early on, there's just no place for you to bring your heart rate back down. Like long line of action on both movements.
Yeah.
I definitely suffered from doing too big of sets with too long of rest in between. If you watch that video, I'm probably resting 3/4 of the time and working for like 1/4 of it. I said to Drew a few times during it, I should be having conversations mid-workout, but I never would have guessed in a million years that the chest to bars would be the easier portion of that workout for me. But the thrusters, I feel like you said, really jack your heart rate up. I felt like I was able to stay a little more calm in the pull-ups, but the thrusters each time spiked my heart rate, which made it really hard that once I broke the bar up to go back to another big set, which isn't necessarily the best strategy. If I had to do it again, which I probably will, it'll be much more disciplined on my sets with hopefully someone keep me accountable and rest, because I didn't tell Drew, like, hey, man, make sure I don't rest very long, because he looked over me and was just like, you're resting for a long time.
Thrusters are harder than pull-ups, just sort of as a general statement, but they're usually combined in a way where they work together to create the stimulus, whereas 33 and 27 in terms of the thrusters, that kind of puts them on their own a little bit. It's almost like it's this, then that, not all of this kind of smashed together. And I think that's why you felt a little bit more comfortable, because, that metabolic load in comparison is a little bit easier. You're just so used to having your heart in your throat and you're trying to perform high skill gymnastics. Whereas this one, it's more of that kind of that general fatigue.
It's a weird workout too, because if you think your traditional Fran, you have 45 reps of piece, and you do those first two humongous sets, and you've already done over Fran and a third, and you have to do it again. Like you have a humongous dose of fitness. You're essentially doing 2 and a 10th Frans. Like you're doing a humongous amount of work. So the key for me, for someone looking to do it this very well, take the strategy that Fraser and Tia had, where you're doing sets, but you're very, very strategic with how you break it up, and you're very disciplined. Which you have to know yourself and to know what that number is that you can put the bar down and then repeat over and over again without having a humongous break occur in between movements or in between sets.
There was just there was no real place where it was I've made it past that point. Like
it's not the 15s in Fran.
Yeah, once you finish that, you're on your way down. But the fatigue compounded. I thought it was definitely like an arm pump for sure. Just the tension holding that bar on the front rack, no matter how you do it. 95 pounds isn't much for most of our high level athletes as far as front reps, squat. Well, I mean, as far as like squatting is concerned, right. Like you're saying, the leg, it was never a leg thing.
Yeah, to me,
just tension in the arms, and there's no checkpoint. That's I made it. Now I'm on the back half of it. Like, you just got to keep going.
Decent at Fran. I like both those movements. I don't really have a problem with thrusters or chest to bar pull-ups, anymore. But for me, it was just like the fatigue, like the lungs were my issue, like not my muscles. I didn't feel like I wasn't
even breathing as much as I had that like feeling in the pit of my stomach that was this. I don't want to keep doing this.
A huge mistake would be to go into this with any sort of concept of Fran.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not the same
entering
workout.
Your brain, because Fran begins with that, like, you're antsy to get your hands on the bar and get to work. And the rounds of 33 and 27, and even for a lot of athletes, 21, there's no go involved. You need to, and this really is a slippery slope. I've only ever worked with one athlete. I joke about this all the time. China's the only athlete where you can be like, okay, do this set, and then jump right back up. She's gonna 2.8
seconds.
She's gonna do it every single time. Everyone else lives on planet Earth and has to deal with trying to have that fine line between, I need a strategy, but does that turn into some sort of excuse for me? This is the type of workout to me where you need a plan to the point where you are breaking it up enough, but also not giving yourself an excuse to stand around a bunch. If you stand around in this workout, you will be screwed. Your time will not be good enough. But if you break this workout up a bunch, you can be completely fine.
Yeah, I mean, we watched Fraser and
it was a walk in the park through 21.
Williams, and they all broke it up multiple times early on. Like you're saying, it's just the difference of how disciplined you are, how little you're willing to rest before you pick it up. But I could have probably done twice as many sets and gone faster because I spent so much time with my hands on my knees staring at the ground. Like, thanks, Ted.
We can't.
You did great. Thanks.
What we can't have in this workout is your biggest and best and baddest push be in the first 2 or 3 minutes. It's a 7 to 10 minute workout.
Bro.
It's a 7 to 10 minute workout, right? If we're talking about the context of this podcast.
Yep.
And I'll just giggle a little bit. I mean, Fraser's time, whatever. Throw that out into the outliers pile.
Outlier.
But it's a 7 to 10 minute workout, and we're always teaching this. We're always teaching this, especially within the context of competition. You need to be able to go at the end. You need to be able to go at the end. Like, no one cares that you made it that far. No one cares that you're the 1, 2, 3, or 4 round champion. That doesn't mean anything. You need to be able to go at the end. And if you start to feel it going earlier than that, that's a problem.
Yep.
One thing I really try to take in from last week, knowing how last week felt going into this second, third round of the couplet, was being more methodical and trying to be a little bit smoother at the start. And I think that helped me quite a bit going into, eventually to the 21s, 15s, and 9s.
Yeah.
Like, I felt actually somewhat okay through 33 and 27 in terms of all right, I'm still in the race and I'm still kind of feeling in it. And then I asked, I think on the round of 21 when I put the bar down the first time, where's the time at? And they're like, yeah, all the good athletes are all done already. And I was like, oh, good. So, I mean, I think that was a turning point for me in that workout where I started to take more breaks and take longer rests in between. But if you can stay disciplined for the entire, like you said, 7 to 10 minutes, and you trust yourself and you know enough about yourself where you're okay to put the bar down and then take a very disciplined rest, but staying, like you said, comfortable through the first 2 sets, knowing that you have to breathe and not, pump your arms out or jack your heart rate up so that you can push at the end. That's the key to me.
Yeah. Normally something I tell my athletes in maybe a shorter workout is, hey, I'm a fan of getting over the halfway point of a set, probably not in the set of 33 in this case, but make it a descending sort of style.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be chopped in half. The sets need to get smaller within a set.
And I say, if you don't know what that set is, by the number, come off the bar, for example. As soon as you start to feel a little bit of that fatigue, come off, shake it out, and hop back up. In this workout, I want to say you want to be a couple reps before that point, because if you take that approach in the early sets, even if you get creep up on a big-ish set, you're gonna pay for it. 105 reps.
I still love 3 sets in the first 2 rounds for almost everyone.
Yeah.
I would much rather, you're as a coach, you're holding the racehorse back, and you're like, no, just stick with it, and then 15 you let go. It's once they have that final set of pull-ups in the round of 21, it's like, you got to go now,
right?
It's time to go, because you look at Fraser did that, and you're talking about a minute of rest that he just made disappear into thin air in his 15 and
yeah,
it was just gone. Hold on, what happened there? I didn't even see that coming. Yep. I sort of thought he was as fatigued as he looked, and why would I think that?
Idiot. Chill time. It looks like he's gonna die, and he just does 100
exactly. More. So do not be afraid of sets in this. Be afraid of standing around. If you stand around a lot, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, people will half the people listening to this are like, yeah, okay, I got it. And then they're going to get all jazzed up. And then they're going to do too big of a set and they're going to stand around.
Yeah. And I'll say
it's going to cost.
For even like the intermediate level athlete, someone maybe a little bit lower than what we are typically talking about, I don't even think 4 or 5 sets, again, with disciplined rest is a bad strategy. Like you say, you're going to lose, you lose your time when you're not working.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, I think I did 3 sets in the thrusters to start, and I did 4 in the 27s, and I think I did 3 in the 21s, 2 in the 15s, and I did the 9s in a row. So
I think I did the same thing, and I just got beat down a little bit faster than you did. So,
one thing that I'll say is if you're the type of person that's not going to be able to go into it and say, I'm going to do this, and this, these are my 3 sets for this round, and you have actual numbers written down, you need a judge that also has that, or a judge and a coach.
I would say a coach and a judge. Judge, just pay attention to your reps. Coach, say,
right, exactly.
Okay,
but
wait.
You have that, have that person standing there that's like, all right, we got 8, we're going 4 and 4. We're going 5 and 3. We're going to get this done. Okay, 3, 2, 1, hop back up. Because that time warp when you're feeling like shit is incredible.
Yeah.
You thought it was 10 seconds. It was 30.
I'm super interested to look at the video and see. I knew I was standing around for 15, 20, probably even 30 seconds at some point, and you just...
It evaporates before you know it.
It just goes. It's fairy dust on the elemental chart.
So,
movement efficiency.
I mean...
use your legs on your thrusters.
Yeah, for the love of God, use your legs. Do not start squatting before the bar hits you. Do not start pressing until your hips extend.
Yeah.
Like, surprise, surprise, I watched
CrossFit
Fraser
101.
And he knocked himself into the squat with the bar, and he threw the bar up off his shoulders with his hips.
Yeah.
Every rep. It's not a surprise that people do the right thing. Chest to bar pull-ups, I would say that if this is one of those workouts where you get tired enough that they start to become segmented, and they look a little weird. Sometimes it's about the grip, sometimes it's about your fatigue. And what I love with that is just the mantra in your head of feet, hips, feet, hips, feet, hips. So your feet get out in front of you. You can see your toes in your backswing. Then you pop your hip.
Yep.
You make sure it's about your hip. You make sure your grip is the way that it needs to be, or you come right back down and jump right back up.
Skim the bar. Don't run into it.
Exactly. Get your work done behind the bar. And for anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about and is like, how am I supposed to go from chin over bar to that? We love that warm up of chin over bar, then a little bit higher, then a little bit higher. Work yourself through, that warm up and tell yourself, oh, I can't understand the timing here. I just need to close that gap down a little bit.
We got a couple of videos on YouTube too. If you haven't seen those videos, you can go back and dig into our YouTube channel to see some of those old progressions of us working with athletes going from chin to chest to bar pull-ups.
Yeah.
The only thing I have to add to what you guys were saying is, I'm not known for my mobility, but spending time to make sure that you can be as upright as possible in your squat so you can use your hips the right way is huge. Like, one thing we probably don't do that great on Thursday night is get ourselves loose, but that's super important. Yeah. Make sure your front rack's in a good position so you can sit that bar on your shoulders. You're not holding it on your forearms. You're not holding it with your shoulders and burning your shoulders out. And just get your hips loose so you can be vertical.
Get that bar into a comfortable position, straight over your head. Any deviation out in front of you, you're going to pay for that in latter sets of pull-ups or thrusters. Just spend the time, mobilize, and then, man, don't rip. If you're someone trying to make a push for a top score, you're not going to want to repeat this thing. You'll probably have to, but you certainly don't want to do it with shredded hands. So,
no. Anything else, Drew? What else you got for us?
Man, this is an interesting workout. I think it's really hard for CrossFitters to stay within themselves for that 33, 27, 21, but you have to do it. And you have to have somebody there.
I don't even know what to compare it to.
You have to have somebody there with you that's going to hold you accountable to get right back to the bar.
Yeah.
Because this is the strategy we're throwing out there is a slippery slope.
Yeah.
But it's also the only way that you're going to get the best score.
Yeah.
Without digging too far into this is like games level Fran, right? Everyone said that Fran was like this whole mythical thing that once you did it and you did it like sub 330, you did sub 3, and you said it's sub 230, and then whatever. Now
it's a little bit more extra than that.
But yeah, but I'm saying,
I know
like,
what you mean.
Is this one of those workouts that 5 years from now people are like, who cares?
Yeah,
Instead of 33, 27.
This is within that progression. This is
going the
for me. It always goes back to snowboarding, like when it was the 900 and then the 1080, and then now, they're hucking
38-20s.
Exactly. Like it never, ever, ever stopped.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's not going to ever be a 700-pound deadlift at the games. Like I don't see anything like that happening. But within the context of CrossFit, yeah, probably someone's going to be able to do this workout. I don't think unbroken.
No. But I'm saying like you're going to see those silly times where someone thought like a sub 3 minute frame was mythical and only one person in the world could do it. Now literally, grandma does 3 minute frame. Like, it's just crazy. I was wondering if you guys think this is something along those same lines.
I mean, it'll definitely go down as one of the more rugged open workouts for sure.
All right, real talk. Anyone beat Frazier at that workout or have a chance?
What was he? 7:30?
No, 6.
Oh, 6. I was thinking
650
of
something. Yeah.
Is there anyone out there that can beat him at this?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the law of the 225 snatch. No one in CrossFit could snatch 225 until one guy could, and then everyone could. Like when you know something's possible and you know you're shooting for something, and there's been a bar set. I think certain athletes that know that they can live in the same realm as him on a similar workout know that that's what they're shooting for now. I honestly, after watching, Travis did have a lot of his kind of stumbling and standing around, but he looked pretty good. He looked pretty good in that workout. Yeah. I didn't see him do the first round, so that I don't know what he did in the first round.
Did it probably in a
unbroken.
minute.
33 unbroken.
So my guess, prediction-wise, I'm going to say there's probably another 15 to 20 seconds that could be chopped off. I'm not saying it's going to, but it could be.
I don't know if anybody will beat. There's kind of like last week, it's a small short range of motion guys workout. Like Frazier is going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if we'll see.
Brilliant analysis.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm here all week.
The fittest guy on earth would be hard to beat.
It's
Get out of town.
Top time.
I think I'll bet on him.
I think Frazier's top time. I don't think anyone's going to beat that time. That just seems otherworldly. Like Travis is amazing at both those movements. I mean, he might not be the best.
Ted, what did you say Frazier's time was? Okay, 1 second less than that will be the top time in the world. I think someone, if they know that that's possible, is going to be able to be in that realm.
Girls right around the same time, maybe add a few seconds just because of the upper body portion of it, or not because it's not pressing, it's pulling.
I think that the men's times will be in the 30 plus second range faster.
Got it. Well,
I don't have anything intelligent to say.
Best of luck. Have fun.
Wasted my.
This is a interesting workout, but it's not unlike a lot of the other workouts that we do. There's just this like mystical
the thruster chest to bar
to the thruster chest to bar. If it was other movements that had a similar metabolic demand, people would know how to break it up a little bit better.
Yeah.
And you have to think about it within that vein. Break it up a little bit more than you want to in the first 2 or 3 rounds. And then, I mean, if you're pushing for a top, 100 score in this, you need to be able to go hard in your 15s and 9s. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to be able to, again, I saw him cut a minute out and it was ridiculous to watch, but that's when you need to have that.
Yeah.
That's when you need to be able to stomp on the gas pedal.
Just thinking, if you're saying you're doing 3 sets in the first 3 movements, that's 18 transitions between the two, 18 rest periods, 18 plus transitions, not including 15 and 9.
I mean, 1 second slower in each one is a
That's
significant amount of time in the open.
Yeah, the difference of one extra rep that sends you just over your red line versus put it down, take an extra 5 seconds even to rest, and that's going to pay.
Yeah,
so
people on that, intermediate to beginner level, break this up a ton. Break this up way more than you want to right from the beginning. And if you get to the round of 15 and you're like, I broke this up too much, good. You'll be able to go fast.
Hard,
Break this up
and then you'll still hate yourself
a lot. Break this up. I think that's all we got.
Best of luck.
We will be announcing these leaderboards, giving out more prizes, all kinds of good stuff once we know like exactly what the scores are. I know it takes a little bit longer, so it's probably not going to be a week from today, but we will have a wrap-up podcast. There will be prizes on it. There will be all kinds of cool information.
Fireworks.
And we
will definitely have fireworks in the studio.
In this room, in this 10 by 10 square.
They're going to be all going to be pointed at Sherb. So tune in for that.
But that competition track next week, super excited about that.
Yes.
Be on the lookout.
We'll be posting all about it. So stay
For
tuned.
many of you guys, this is not your season. You've still got a whole lot of time left. So
Truth.
bye.
Good luck.
I'm going to sleep.
Peace.